Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the first two episodes of the first season of Escape Mail, Family Secrets from Mobile Escape. This was originally a sort of monthly sent by mail escape room in a box kind of puzzles that play out over a series of 12 months that tells sort of an overarching story of the 12 months of puzzles put together. Now that it's done, you can buy sort of just the first episode, the set of the first two episodes, the entire thing, or I believe you can still do sort of the monthly shipment to play through over a year as well. Disclaimer, for this video, I was given a review copy of the first two episodes, but I will do my best as always to give you my own honest opinion on the experience. With that said, let's head down to the table to see what's in the first episode envelope. I'm not going to spoil anything from the second episode, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think of the experience of both of the first two episodes. All right, so this here is, as you can see printed down here on the back, Season 1, which is Family Secrets Episode 1. It says difficulty standard, cuz open with care, JJ. So this is the sort of first shipment, the first mailing of the Escape Mail Family Secrets set, which based on their website is a 12-part, so I guess one per month series. As of starting this video, I have not opened this at all, so I'm going to open this up for the first time on screen. I'm just going to show you what's inside this envelope, and then later on, after I play through the first two episodes, because that's what I have available to me right now, after I play through the first two episodes, I will come back and share my thoughts on the series, and hopefully then if I enjoy it, I will go ahead and play through the remaining 10 episodes of the series. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we get. I already see there's a little bit of a code here and a little bit of a code there that's probably connected together in some way. I want to open this as gently as possible because I don't know how much the envelope is important aside from those two little code things that I just saw. But inside we have a letter. Ooh, that's sealed with this little sticker. Again, trying to be gentle, but I've got a letter. The letter says, "Hello, cousin. I hope this letter reaches you quickly. Time is running out. I'll cut to the chase. You don't know who I am, but I know who you are. My name is Joshua Jordan Fitzpatrick, and I am your cousin, twice removed on your mother's side. The reason that you're receiving this letter is because I cannot trust the family. They've kept my existence a secret from you. I know that this will come as a surprise, but I desperately need your help. I was going through our great-grandpa Alfred's belongings recently and came across some mysterious documents and artifacts. After going through it all, I've discovered that he has left behind for us a way to reclaim this family secret. More treasure and gold coins than you and I can imagine, and it is rightfully ours. Since uncovering the documents, I've been followed by a ruthless group of individuals that also believes the treasure is theirs. They call themselves the Hunters, but I will not sacrifice our family's fortune to people without compassion. I've scanned and printed out copies of just a few of Alfred's things to show you, including 3 pieces of a map. Not sure where the 4th piece is yet. I've embedded a series of tests in these documents for you to prove that you're up for the adventure with me. If you can successfully decode all of this, I'll see you on the other side. Good luck, JJ." And on the back, nothing. So in here we do have a bunch of stuff. Let's take a look. I've got, as he mentioned, 3 pieces of what looks like a pirate map. Nothing again on the back. Does sort of fit together like this, missing out this quadrant up there. Let me slide down just a little like that. 3 pieces of a map with all kinds of locations and stuff on the map that's going to be fun to play with and look through. Ooh, this is cool. I've got this piece of twine, this very strange piece of cloth with all kinds of red, almost blood-like writing on it. I've got this sort of bookmarky kind of material thing with these 3 compassy seal looking things and some writing there. Nothing on the back of that. I've got this sort of weathered paper that is a shipping manifest. Nothing on the back of that either. That was kind of all rolled up. I've got this flow card, which I'm not going to show too well. Obviously, you can pause if you really wanted to see it, but this is sort of an interest It's an interesting thing that I've seen in their other game in that it shows you all the things you need. It gives you a link to music if you want to listen while you're playing, and this is sort of a hint system if you scan that. But the flow card that I just showed you on the back, and I'm not going to show you again, and yeah, I guess if you want to go back and look, you can. But the flow card is basically going to give you an idea of what things you need to put together and sort of how they link together in order to figure something out. Now, I do know in the most recent one that I did preview for their recent Kickstarter campaign, it did say in the sort of opening packet that if you wanted to try without the flow card, that's sort of the expert version or a more difficult version. And I may try to do that this time, but I don't know if this first set was designed with that in mind. So I may need to use the flow card anyway, but I'll talk more about that when I come back with my final thoughts. The last piece then here is this strange encoded message of some kind with apparently some letters missing at the end. And that is everything that is in the packet. And now seeing all of that, I'm very excited to dig in and try to start solving these puzzles. But that's basically all I've got to show you right now. Meet me back up top, and having finished the first 2 episodes, I will let you know how I felt about the experience. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the overview. So this is now the second sort of experience I've had with these Mobile Escape Mail games. The first being my preview of the Shackleton version that just was on Kickstarter or crowdfunding recently. I was interested a lot in that one. I really enjoyed the experience I had, so I wanted to see more from this company. And I have to say that I still enjoy what I've seen here, and I'm going to walk through more specifically what I enjoyed and didn't enjoy. But this one was a bit more of a mixed bag for me, and it did kind of feel like this was their sort of first attempt at this thing. And let me sort of explain what I mean by that. So inside each of these envelopes that I played the first 2 episodes, you get sort of an assortment of mostly paper-based stuff because obviously you can't fit big, heavy, chunky puzzle stuff in a normal-sized envelope. So it's mostly paper-based. It does require scissors for cutting things. You may want tape to tape things together, but for the most part, it's written kind of puzzles. Except I say that because one thing that's really cool about this, or really interesting about this at least, is the use of their online stuff. Now, I say that carefully because I know some people would prefer no internet access required so that you could just play it out on a tabletop. But I actually enjoyed what they did here with the internet, and a couple of things they did. First, simply just to put it out there is a sort of soundtrack that's put out through a QR code on the internet for each of these games, so you can have music playing in the background while you're playing this. It sort of thematically matches what you're doing in the game. Now, that said, I'm not a huge fan of music playing while I play any kind of game or puzzle or anything else because it does sort of distract me from the experience, so I didn't do that. But I know a lot of people do that and do enjoy that, so I just wanted to point that out. There's also a hint system online that's also a QR code on that same card that comes in the game. So if you get stuck anywhere along the line, they will offer you hints. And it's pretty cool because each puzzle gives you a small hint, then a big hint, and then finally the solution for that puzzle. I never had to use the solutions themselves. I very rarely needed the small hint because I generally knew enough already to get past that. But I did use a big hint once or twice through the 2 episodes that I played of this game. But otherwise, the internet in this game is also used for a variety of different ways to solve puzzles. Very often, the things that you're doing will require you to then go on the internet to show that you've done the thing that you were doing. But also, the internet is used to show videos and actually give you a little bit more puzzle kind of stuff that obviously wouldn't fit in the envelope. So what this does is it actually allows for the sort of small amount of stuff that's in that envelope to actually be bigger and give you more expansive puzzles that could physically fit inside that envelope. And I appreciate that. It really did make the experience feel a little bit bigger because of the usage of the internet. So let's talk about the puzzles themselves. Nothing here is all that mind-blowing. There are things that I've seen in other puzzles before. There's actually something I saw in their own Shackleton puzzle that's kind of here done slightly different. So it's not like I was repeating the same thing. I did have to think about things in a slightly different way, but there was a very similar puzzle in that and this that sort of makes me feel a little sad because It's the same company kind of reusing something they've done before. So it felt a little less than great, but again, it was slightly twisted so that it did feel a little bit different, and it wasn't just do the same thing that I did in the other game to solve the same thing the way that I did it before. But most of the puzzles here, again, everything's paper. There are some folding things, there are some writing things, there are some cutting things, there's lots of spatially based kind of stuff, and for the most part I enjoyed it. Most of the puzzles required effort to solve. None of them were extremely challenging to make me feel like I had no idea what I was doing. I did mention that I used hints a couple of times. Mostly I used the hints for things that I knew what I needed to do to solve the puzzle, but I just couldn't physically get it done. So I used the hint to sort of give me a push in the direction to connect that last little bit of connection that I needed to figure out that final step of how do I get this from here to here where I know it needs to be. That said, the first episode didn't really have this, but the second episode to me felt like, and I don't really know the history of this company, so I can't say for sure, but it felt like this may have been an endeavor that sort of started during COVID, because I know this company does mobile escape rooms that they sort of send around so you can have an escape room come to you for a party or an event and do the escape room. And it feels to me like this escape mail thing may have started because of COVID. They couldn't do what they were doing, so they tried to find a way to send the escape room stuff to your house. And the reason I say that is, I mentioned there was some stuff on the internet that included some videos and included pieces of puzzles that I did enjoy, that it expanded on the sort of size of what's able to be done with a single envelope of stuff. But a lot of the online stuff to me felt like, hey, we have this escape room, but you can't come to the escape room, so you can't really manipulate any of the stuff in the escape room. So basically, we're going to give you hints, and we're going to show you pictures of the stuff in the escape room so you can do what you're supposed to do. And it sort of felt like it was taking away from the puzzle, because it was kind of just like, look at this, here's your answer. Or look at this, now read this and make the connection, there's your answer. And it didn't require what it would have required if I was actually in the escape room, where I'd actually have to be searching the room, finding the things, pushing buttons, interacting in some way to make the things happen that then I have to figure out is the answer or the solution to a puzzle. So it was missing that interactive piece. It was sort of like, here's your puzzle, now figure it out. Here's your puzzle, now figure it out. Whereas it would have been more fun if I had to figure out that this thing turned this thing to make this turn on, and now that connected to this thing on the other side of the room, and that's how I solved the puzzle. And unfortunately, with everything sort of given to you in the envelope and then given to you as a picture or a video on the internet, it took away from some of that. That said, I still did enjoy the experience. And there were still some interesting puzzles in here. And I still do like what I'm seeing, but it's not groundbreaking. It's not all that detailed or, new and unique as far as puzzles go. It does very much feel like they tried to take an escape room experience that they had, using some of the pieces they already had, and tried to figure out how do we make that fit into an envelope to send to people's houses. And I can't fault them for that, because it's still a very interesting idea. And the monthly idea of this continuing as a story is a very interesting idea. And I do know that this is the first two that they did. So it's very likely that this was still a learning experience for them. And I mentioned that the Shackleton, I can't remember the full thing, I'm sorry, the full name title is escaping me, but the Shackleton experience, or the Shackleton escape room, escape mail, did interest me a lot more. The story here is not all that much going on. Basically, you're contacted by your cousin JJ, just like you were in Shackleton. There's some kind of treasure that we're trying to get. There's somebody out to get us. Something's going on in the background. There's not a whole lot happening yet. Granted, this is 12 episodes and I've only played 2 of them, so that story is probably going to expand, but I don't feel as much of that thematic richness and that thematic connection to the puzzles like I did in that Shackleton one. So I'm hoping that if I continue to play through these episodes, that more of that comes in, that more of the experience of designing these escape mails comes in. So by that episode 12, the puzzles have improved, the thematic connection has improved, the story continues to grow. And if that's the case, then I'm very excited to see more. But from what I've seen, if this was my first experience with their stuff and I hadn't played the Shackleton one before, I'd be a little bit underwhelmed by what I'm seeing here, despite some of the creativity and the cleverness that's gone into this. It doesn't blow me away. Still though, I'd like to see what comes next. The other thing I do want to talk about is pricing on this, and I want to sort of balance this because when I look at it and I see over $100 for all 12 episodes, my brain says, yeah, that's a lot of money. But as I sat down to record this video and I started thinking about that more, each puzzle is about $10. And if you do the monthly subscription or it decreases the cost a little bit for you. And honestly, if I play a game like Unlock, I'm spending $30 for 3 puzzles. If I play a game like Exit, I'm spending $10 to $12 for a puzzle. I feel that these puzzles, or this set of puzzles, is a little bit less than I'd get in something like an Exit or an Unlock, but not really. And it still takes about an hour. I should talk about this. It still took about an hour or so to play through. So realistically, I'm being too harsh on the price. It just looks big because there's so many episodes that go into this. And again, if it's overarching and it's continuing to get better and growing, I'm excited. There's one last thing I should talk about that I forgot to talk about, and that's the flow cards. I mentioned in my overview that this time I was going to try and solve the puzzle without using it because when I played Shackleton, I had no way to do that, and I really wanted to challenge myself this time. That said, I sat down to the first episode, without the flow card and had no clue where to start. So I instantly went to the flow card, and it really does help me figure it out. The second episode, then I did start directly with that flow card, and then kind of wish that I hadn't, because the second episode actually, there was an improvement on the way it was written in that if you paid attention, it did sort of push you in the direction you were supposed to go without using the flow card. So I didn't refer to the flow card much, and I kind of wish I hadn't looked at it at all for the second episode to see if I could do it. So it looks like some of these are going to sort of be easier or more difficult to solve with or without that flow card. So if I continue to play through them, I will continue to try and challenge myself not to use it. But at the same time, I don't feel so guilty about using it because thinking about it, when I play the Exit games, you've got that code wheel, and each of the puzzles is marked with a symbol, so I know that these things go together to solve this puzzle, and these things go together to solve that puzzle, which is basically the same as the flow card here. When I play Unlock, I know that red cards and blue cards go together. I know that yellow cards require a code. I know that green cards are some kind of interactive thing. So realistically, all of the other escape kind of things that I'm playing generally push me into this is how you solve the puzzle, or this is the kind of thing you're trying to do. And I generally don't love big, open, explory kind of escape rooms where I have zero idea what goes where and what I'm even supposed to be doing. But this one is sort of in between, and I don't feel bad about using the flow cards, but I like the idea that it's possible to solve without the flow card if you're paying enough attention. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's worth trying without it, but don't feel bad if you need it because it's not really spoiling anything. It's just sort of focusing your brain to understand that you need these things to solve a puzzle, you need these things to solve a puzzle, and now go figure it out on your own. Overall, again, I enjoyed the experience. I'm glad that I played these. Wasn't mind blown, was a bit underwhelmed, particularly with the second episode and how they sort of reused components from an existing escape room in a sort of just show and tell kind of way without real interactivity, but it is what it is. I look forward to trying more from this company for sure, even with this sort of less than amazing experience from these. Definitely, if you're still interested in these kinds of escape puzzles, and if you're looking to play with a family or people who don't play a lot of puzzles and might want a slightly easier experience or a slightly less than sort of crunchy experience, definitely this is a good place to start. So maybe start here and see how you feel and then expand to some of the more difficult puzzles that do exist out there. In any case, I will be keeping my eye on this company to see what they're doing in the future, and hopefully will give them another chance to try some of their other stuff. I hope that this video was helpful. As always, if you did enjoy this video, I ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon down below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.